to do this for us, so we're gonna wing it because we have to. And so forgive us. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order and ask for approval of the agenda. Thank you, Bill. Have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Bruce. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public comment? Don't see any public. Okay, thank you. Okay, what is required for this meeting? The review of the TIF plan as it relates to the budget?
It's just you're supposed to hold 2 informational meetings a year, and content is determined by DDA.
Okay.
Typically an overview, so it looks like that's what.
Yeah, so there is a presentation, and forgive me, this is not typical, but we're just gonna run through this. Mark had this down pat and has prepared this. So basically, he's just a plan review of our TIF, just to kind of give that to the public and the board to kind of look at where our purpose is and our priorities. So, next. So this is what in 2020 looks like our development plan. We had these items that we were going to focus on. So he's just recapping that so that we're all aware of what was approved in the TIF plan.
Okay.
Jump in at any time, Kyle.
Well, I was kind of looking at several of those, and we have been meeting
Yeah.
a lot of those, so.
And I think, so with this informational, it's kind of like at the half-year point of the fiscal budget. So when we come at to the end of the budget, we'll have another recap to kind of see where we're at on some of those things.
So I think it's good we're kind of following those objectives.
Yeah.
I think the point of the informational session was to invite, and Mark did that, the other taxing jurisdictions that contribute to the DDA capture. And I think, like through the state, it was, they kind of were finding that DDAs would go down rabbit holes about certain spending, but we're kind of still focused on streetscape, Riverwalk, things that we said in the plan.
Yeah, and I think based on kind of the audit too, I mean, our auditor said we're sticking to what that we've said we were going to do, so, and then following the TIF plan.
These are just some of the highlights that were mentioned in the priorities.
We can look at them if you guys want.
Does anybody want to review any of those or have questions?
I mean, that information too will be out on, for the public to see, so that if there are questions, and then we can, I don't know if we want to revisit this when Mark's back. I mean, I apologize, I was not prepared to do this today, due to what just happened. Kind of got, so I apologize for that.
Do we have a budget status and analysis?
As far as a budget status, well, as far as an analysis, I have an analysis and just kind of a recap of the budget versus actual, of where we are currently to this year to date. And I'd be happy to kind of walk through some of the line items to share with you and help educate you guys on what some of the actuals and what are some of the upcoming expenses that we should be seeing. So everybody should have a copy of the budget versus actuals in front of you. This is the most updated copy. So just to kind of recap, and what you see in front of you is budget versus actuals. This report is very helpful, and when you look at this, it shows you what we budgeted for the year and what the actuals of what we are standing current to date. So just kind of looking at this report, looking at the first line item, miscellaneous income, This is the revolving loan line item. This is where we are currently collecting the money that was loaned from Jamie Catholic.
Okay.
We have approximately $3,200 left to collect, including interest. The event revenue, hops and pops, so we had a profit about $43,000, generated a revenue of $17,305.30. So you will see a hops and pops income line and an expense line. The TIF revenue, that's pretty self-explanatory and also goes back to the TIF plan review. And this is revenue that's generated from the city. The expenses, like for example, advertising, that line item, you're gonna see expenses for social distancing.
Okay.
So those are some things that you will see out of the advertising line item, or potential marketing needs in the future, like billboard to help redirect traffic, for an example. The design committee related expense, those have a few different line items. For an example, downtown decorations. That would include like flowers, planters for the spring and fall from Weezy's, and winter decorations from Let's Farm. That includes the garland and bows that you see downtown. The design project, we have a budget of $20,000, even though that there was $319 total spent to this year's date. However, looking back at the minutes starting July of 2022, we have committed about $12,000, so total remaining, we have $7,000 left.
Okay.
And that's how much we have left for the remaining of the fiscal year. The annual audit line, I did seek out to our auditors to find out what the exact quote is for next year, so I will be getting that information so that we have the correct numbers when we go into the budget discussion. On the second page here, the Downtown Dollars program, that's going to be a little bit challenging to budget, and we still have downtown dollars out there. Unfortunately, we do not know how many are distributed. The good news is that 2020 was the last time that they were printed, and the expiration date is December 31st of 2025.
Okay.
So after 2025, I don't see the need to have to budget that for it. And then the West Shore Partnership, that's the rental, and then the Riverwalk Plaza, which was also discussed in the original board meeting. Does anybody have any questions about this budget versus actual? Any questions about the expenses or other expenses that we might see?
This document, is this an easy report to run?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's very helpful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that can be run by Carmen or myself if you need it. We don't have to go through the accountants to do that. We can
Okay.
get it on a, as quick, if you call, if we're not doing something else.
Could we have it
there.
included monthly in the board packet?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a burn rate in the budget? Are the expenditures scheduled by quarter or by month in the budget?
They're by month.
But the expenditures are scheduled, budgeted by month. So is it possible to get a report, not just on the budget versus actual, but year-to-date budget, year-to-date actuals? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So there's a total budget, and then there's what we should have spent by this date,
Mm.
right?
We can try that. I think it's tricky when if you've invoiced and you're not getting,
Yeah.
there's gonna be some
Quarterly.
gray areas, but I mean, we can, if that's something that
Quarterly
you.
is probably, if you
Yeah.
can roll the months up to
Yeah.
quarterly, is probably, less subject to that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I'm only talking if it's easy. This is fine.
and I will tell you, Carmen does keep a very detailed spreadsheet to know anything that's been invoiced or know what's coming, so she can anticipate, like, okay, like she mentioned that one line item, hey, we budgeted X, but it doesn't reflect it on the budget versus actual. However, if there is 7,000 or whatever going to be remaining after all these invoices come in.
Yeah.
So we do keep track of that, she's very good at that, so, but if you want that report, we can take a look at that with our accountants.
Like I say, if it's
Okay.
easy,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Any questions for Carmen?
I just wanted to say thanks for walking us through that. That was really helpful.
Yeah.
Me too. If there's any other questions you guys have, or if you want to sit down, and I can certainly go through the budget. And we can also talk about, potential line items or what to expect. For example, the operating expenses, those, some things that you might see in that line item might be, the DDA domain for the website. You might see stamps for mailing out the invoices. Just, those are some of the examples that you might see from that line item. Any other questions?
And I think why this is helpful too, just for the board's purpose, as you go into the next fiscal year budgeting, so you can kind of see where we're at midway through the year. And when we start talking about budgeting, I know facade grants is on the next discussion point. Looking at that, I believe that we've had people, we will hit that $50,000 mark this year. And there's other people that we were not able to give it to. So looking at the next fiscal year when we budget, do we want to increase that line item? What does that look like? So I think this is a good time to have this in front of the board and have everybody kind of take a look at that.
So with that, moving on to the next item, and Bill or Stacy or anybody can jump in on this, and I'll do my best when it comes to facade grants. I had a good meeting with Mark last week, and he made me aware of a new program that the MEDC is highly recommending that we participate in that could, I think, get us up to $500,000 over, the time period. Is it? I want to say 10 years, but that seems, I don't know if that's accurate. But anyway, it's a program that Dan Leonard said we could easily apply for. And it's a matching program, but I'm not doing it justice because it was just a quick conversation Mark and I had, and I know he wanted to report on that today. So we'll ask him to bring that to the next meeting. I don't believe it's time sensitive, but do you guys know any more about it than I do?
No, I'm interested.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
What was the purpose of it?
Was it infrastructure or was it over?
He just said facade,
Oh, okay.
so.
Yeah, I'll ask, like you said, we can have him report on that more detail the next board meeting.
Okay.
So that everybody's aware of that.
I don't believe it's time sensitive. If it is, we'll send out an email, but it seemed like kind of a no-brainer. Because we could use the existing money that we're already currently budgeting to match that, but it was, I don't know, 100%, or I don't remember, but it was a pretty significant contribution from MEDC.
I don't know if Mark was able to tell them, so Bluefish didn't do their match on Main, but then the former Fillmore site applied for a match on Main there.
Okay.
So hopefully we get them. Maybe they're revamping that match on Main program too, so.
Okay.
But I'll talk to Mark.
Do you know, can the facade grant be used for the back of the building?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you think that that's clear to everybody but me?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
That's a good point. Advertise it.
I can, Bruce, look in the application, because we do have the application online. So if that's not in it, we can make sure that I think it encompasses the exterior of the entire property. So, but we can take a look at that and make sure.
Because I think if we want people, I think we want people to be investing on the back of the property connecting to the river water. And I think if we want people to do that, we have to start communicating that out. And I didn't know that the facade grant could be used for the back. If we want people to do it, folks have to know about it. And depending on the demand, we might consider putting more money into as much as we can get a hold of.
Good idea.
Public comment? Go ahead, please.
if you had read all of the words that were up there that they quickly passed through, that was one of the focus points of the TIF program, is riverwalk frontages.
Yep. Okay. Anything else for update topics? Public comment? Any board member comments? Thanks for your patience and understanding with this one. And I would ask for adjournment. Motion by Bruce.
Second.
Second by Kelly. Thank you.